think I need to stretch before this one because Judgmental Austin's coming out today. Honestly, I feel like it's warranted with the listings we're about to see. If you guys haven't had a chance to watch my reaction to guinea pig listings on Craigslist, make sure to go ahead and check those ones out before you watch this one. This one might honestly be a little worse. It's one thing to have a guinea pig in a really small cage, but to have a rabbit that's like 6 times, 10 times as big as a guinea pig inside of that same cage is god awful. So we're gonna be seeing a lot of that today. Sit down, relax, and also brace yourself. Let's go ahead and react to the worst rabbit listings on Craigslist. We're starting strong with a really bad listing. This listing I actually had came across on Facebook about a year ago. So I reached out to this person because I wanted to pick their brain and just see kind of like what their mental state was and what they were thinking in this. And they did tell me that they do breed rabbits, and I had kindly let her know that this was not a suitable enclosure to house this many rabbits in. And her response was, well, they get some time out of the cage. Okay. Any time, no matter if it's an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours outside of the cage, that is not enough time to have 10 rabbits in this very small enclosed space. You guys can see these rabbits are on top of each other. They're definitely struggling to get food because they literally are crammed in there on top of each other, on the bottom of each other. They are literally having to squeeze in there. What makes matters even worse is the fact that there's a litter box inside of there, which takes up almost half of the cage. So it's even less walking room for these buns. And these also aren't even baby bunnies. Like, these are like a couple months old. These are teenager bunnies. They're a decent size. I mean, they're almost comparable to the adult who's in there right now currently, from what I can see, munching on some pellets. These rabbits will definitely outgrow this cage very quickly. Me being the crazy person that I am, I kindly was like, can I please get your number just to like offer some advice? And thankfully she did give me it. So I did shoot her a text and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, this is probably a more suitable enclosure for these bunnies. You guys can see I sent her something that was a little bit more appropriate, and more appropriate meaning like a literal room inside of a bedroom, because with having like over 10 bunnies, this would be more suitable. So I gave her the rundown of all the care, and I was followed up with no response. So I did not get an end to this story. I didn't get a successful anything. This was basically just a very open-ended conversation with this person and a huge shock value of seeing this cage. So again, please do not be housing your rabbits inside of something like this, let alone 10 rabbits. Alrighty, our next listing comes from Craigslist, and this one says a 7-month-old lion head mix, very friendly, loves to be held and rubbed. $20 rehoming fee to lessen the chance of becoming snake food. It is very smart. I always say that. You know, you always want to have a rehoming fee just to avoid live feeders. My son isn't taking care of it. Rabbit will come with a smaller standard floor cage, the last pick, food, dishes, timothy hay, and bedding, all for $20. So I'm assuming that they have not taken the time or the due diligence to sex this rabbit because they're calling it an it, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it also kind of lets me know where they're at in terms of like how much they really care about this rabbit, because I feel like when you care about your animal, you probably want to know what its sex is, and the fact that they are not saying what it is slightly concerning. Another concern is the fact that this rabbit is in a very small cage. It almost looks like a dog crate with a little multi-level. Again, we have the wire flooring, which is very dangerous for both guinea pigs and rabbits. Rabbits have a little bit of a different foot than guinea pigs do. With guinea pigs, they have skin, but with rabbits, it's completely fur, meaning that it's even more sensitive on the bottoms of their feet. So having wire flooring is definitely 100% not a suitable floor for them to be on. I can imagine that they're probably spending the most amount of their time actually on that second level because it is solid flooring, and every single photo is the rabbit actually on that second flooring because they probably don't want to go down and be in discomfort. I see a water bowl, which is good. I gotta point out the good stuff. Instead of a water bottle, it's at least something. I do see some pellets in there as well, which I don't see any colorful bits or seeds or nuts, which is good. I am just a little bit confused as to why it is underneath the second level, because it's probably such a tight space under there for them to actually eat. I would rather just have it on the second level because, again, that's probably where the rabbit is spending most of its time. This cage is actually used a lot of times for ferrets and chinchillas, but again, for rabbits, not so much. Not a suitable enclosure whatsoever. I do also see hay, which is on top of the cage, but I don't see it anywhere within the cage besides on the floor, which had actually already fell through the wire. A little concerning because I wonder if they're actually putting a pile on the wire flooring and then just through time it just ends up going underneath there. Then the access to the hay just becomes impossible because they can't even get to it. I really would have wished that they would have had a hay rack or something more suitable to actually have the rabbit munch down on some hay, because it is something that they do need me 24/7. Very cute bunny, by the way. I love the gray coloring, but yeah, that cage is not cute. Next one. Hey guys, I am so sad to have to part ways with my rabbit. I have to move and they do not allow pets at my new place. Something like this is very common when it comes to people moving. A lot of these places do not allow pets, and then people end up in situations where they have to rehome their animal. So this is nothing out of the ordinary. She is very nice, very good with children, and would love somewhere to run around and play. That is good to know that they're noting that. I've had her for about 2 years now and never been bit. That's also good. Upon rehoming, she has her 2-story home. Not the best. She loves fruits and veggies and hay, would also ask for a rehoming fee of $150 or would drop her off to your home if need be. From the caption alone, I have to give some credit where credit is due. You know, they seem pretty responsible, but obviously we have to address the enclosure. Hutches are one of those things which are widely marketed for rabbits and also guinea pigs, but I find that they are more directed towards rabbits, and they are just not a suitable enclosure for rabbits because, well, they're just not big enough. Very small, they're very compact, they're very cramped, and these rabbits like to stand up on their hind legs, and a lot of these don't provide enough height room for them to do that. I am liking that the door to the hutch is open, so I would imagine that maybe this rabbit has free roam to, you know, the space that it's in, and that this is kind of just the home base for the rabbit to go pee and poop. Obviously, there's really no way to tell. I'm kind of just going based off the photos. Rabbit is so freaking adorable. She is so freaking cute, but the hutch is just not a suitable enclosure. If you are wanting to use it as a home base for a rabbit, I think that could work, but these hutches are fairly expensive. So honestly, I feel like save your money and like don't be spending like over $100, $200 on these things, and just create a nice home base with some fleece on the ground, a normal litter box, some water bowls, food dishes, toys, and honestly, your rabbit would be happier than ever. We have a brown rabbit who's 1 year and 3 months. It was her granddaughter's, but she's not interested anymore. So I'm looking for a good home. Please contact me. Again, I am left to assume that this granddaughter is probably on the younger side. It happens pretty frequently with kids losing interest in these small animals and then it being left into the hands of, in this case, you know, their grandparent, but also parents or just guardians in general. And it becomes their responsibility to figure out what they want to do with it. And 9 times out of 10, parents really do not want to keep these small animals and just find them a new home because it's easier. Yeah, we have this cage, which is, again, not a suitable enclosure for a rabbit, especially one that is this big. This one actually looks like it's got some Flemish giant in it. This is a really, really big rabbit. So that makes matters even worse because this rabbit is huge. I could imagine that if this rabbit was actually standing up on its hind legs, it would reach all the way plus more, but obviously can't because it's just so low. The cage is also lined with half bedding, which is kind of confusing because I don't understand why people wouldn't put it on the rest. We also have a litter box, which would definitely not work out because I'm sure this rabbit is kind of getting confused with where it should go, and it's clearly pooping and peeing in a different corner. Also, there is no hay inside the litter box, so there's definitely no way for this rabbit to be using that. Also, it's just way too small. I mean, this rabbit could probably fit one of its feet inside of it, and that's it. Very confused by the blue hose plasticky thingy in there. I really hope that's not in there as like a little chew toy. Nothing should be given to a rabbit that's plastic. Also, another concerning thing is that there is the remnants of a little seed chew toy. I see these all the time at pet stores, and they're made with seeds and nuts and honey, like just really not great things for rabbits to be ingesting. So you definitely want to be avoiding that. But obviously, from the looks of it, the rabbit definitely enjoyed it because it is completely gone. I also see some little bits of lettuce. I'm glad that there is signs of some fresh veggies. I do not see any hay or pellets or, oh, actually I do see water. There's no hay or pellets. Where are they? Where are they? I can only be left to assume that they're probably on the second level, which is cut out of the photos, but hay is just one of those things where I feel like if you're not seeing remnants of it, especially in a pet store cage that's so small, this rabbit is probably not getting them. And very similar to guinea pigs, their teeth are constantly growing and they need something really crunchy to grind those teeth down. And if they don't have that, that could lead to even more serious issues. So it seems like the only thing left for this rabbit to chew on is that little wooden popsicle stick chew toy. Ay, ay, ay. Number 5, we have yet again another Facebook marketplace listing. 2 rabbits, $30 each, 1 cage available, litter box and water bottles included. Cage is $40. Oh my god, guys. This is just sad. This is just a sad setup. I don't even see the bottom rabbit with anything in the cage. You know, the top rabbit seems like it's getting spoiled because it's got a hidey house, it's got like little play cups, it's got a food dish, it's got, I think, a litter box, but the bottom rabbit literally has nothing. Also, they're on wire flooring, which is, again, very concerning. There is no solid surface for these rabbits to hang on. I can only imagine the discomfort that they're actually in right now. Even from the photos alone, this rabbit looks like it is in distress, like it wants to get out. I would be the same way. I'd be like, literally, get me out of this hellhole. Thankfully from this photo, you know, the rabbit is out and inside of her arms, but I really hope that's not all the interaction that they do get or the only time that they get outside of the cage, because this is literally a prison cell. The rabbits have nothing, they have nothing to do, they have nothing to chew on, they have nothing to eat. It's just nothing. It's just barren. Alrighty, number 6. Leo the rabbit is in need of a loving home, approximately a year old, very sweet and loving. My daughter has gotten a job now, and she doesn't have the time he needs or deserves. He comes with food, a 25-pound bag of pellets, his very big house, okay, and litter box, and has a rehoming fee of $60. It's got to take someone that's like not knowledgeable about rabbit care to think that this enclosure is big. We have a litter box in there with like little bits and pieces of hay. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be used. Then we've got like the hay rack at the top, and then we've got the water bottle. Like everything in this photo does not make sense whatsoever. There are some people out there that do use water bottles for rabbits, and it does work for them, and by all means, if it's something that your rabbit enjoys, then go ahead and do it. I just personally think that it's not a great way for your rabbit to be drinking water because 1, it's unnatural, and also 2, they can't get enough of it. Your rabbit has to work really hard with licking that little ball at the end of the nozzle to get a good amount of water, and it's a lot of work. It would just be a lot easier to put in a big bowl of water for them to actually drink out of. Leo is very cute. Actually looks like a rabbit that I rescued a couple months ago. He is absolutely adorable. Does look like they actually let him out, which is good. I mean, he's in the room, he's hanging out, he looks like he's outside. So this is good to see this, but the enclosure, not so much. Again, these enclosures are really no different than a pet store. You know, these pet stores are creating these really cheap cages but making a lot of profit off of it, and it's very similar to companies that make these hutches. I have actually had tons of companies reach out to me who actually wanted to sponsor this channel for me to review their hutches, and I denied. I didn't even respond to them because I just do not believe in the use of hutches for guinea pigs or rabbits. I have yet to come by one that is a big enough size. Also, I just feel like it's such a trapped feeling in there with your rabbit kind of being stored away in this really dark dungeon. X-pens are the way to go for your rabbits. So this one I actually had came across, I mean, like probably like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. White rabbit for free with supplies and a tower cage. She is young. This person seems to have just gotten this rabbit because this rabbit looks like a baby, maybe only a couple months old. Let me just take a moment, guys. This cage is so bad, and I'm saying this about every single listing, but this is just treacherous. This is awful. We have got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 level cage that this rabbit can go up. Rabbits are climbers. Rabbits do like to jump. They like multi-level stuff, but in a space like this where it is this tight, I can guarantee you guys that this rabbit is not liking it whatsoever. You guys can kind of see this rabbit is being like, please let me out of here. Please get rid of this cage and toss it in the trash. I do not belong in here, and that is definitely correct. Rabbit is so freaking cute. I mean, look at the little white fur and the ears. Like, put something in this tower, as they say, this tower of a cage. I mean, she truly is Rapunzel, and she needs saving. Again, we've got wire flooring at the bottom, and I don't see like anything. I don't see anything in the cage. I see no toys, no enrichment, no food. Oh, there is food at the bottom. Look at me, like, jumping to conclusions. I could just zoom in on the photo. I do see food. It does look like pellets. I can't tell which kind, but I'm only left to assume that it's probably not the best. I do see Timothy hay in the bag, but yet again, it seems like these owners are like not opening it up, putting it inside of the cage. I see no hay rack. I do see a water bottle. I spoke too soon. I do actually see hay, which is off to the side, the very side of this photo, but it actually looks like this is a different cage. In this photo, the rabbit actually looks younger to the other ones, so they probably had this rabbit living in what seems like a dog crate in the beginning, and they were giving it hay, but I don't see the hay in the tower cage. Ay, ay, ay. We got another Facebook one. There's so many bad ones on Facebook, it's insane. I am selling my rabbit cage. She is growing too fast and outgrowing this one. It does have a little stain in it. I tried to deep clean it, but it won't come out. The first photo is this rabbit inside of this very tiny purple cage. Again, this is a pet store cage, typically made for guinea pigs, but we decided to put a rabbit inside of there for whatever means necessary. It doesn't make any sense to me. We have another one of those chew toys, which is made out of like seed and honey. Again, not good for rabbits to chew on whatsoever. There's no shavings. I mean, the rabbit is literally collecting it from what it seems like in one corner of the cage to make sure that they can use their bathroom on that side and then kind of jump to the other side for a more clean area. This person also had the audacity to provide measurements with a measuring tape for the person that bought this rabbit and this cage. So it is 16 inches wide by 30 inches or 29.5 inches length. I don't want to give them too much credit. And then we have 11 inches tall. You guys probably know what I'm going to say here. I mean, this is the smallest cage ever you could put a rabbit inside of. They're stating it clear as day that this rabbit is growing fast and outgrowing this cage. I think that's probably why that they're wanting to rehome this rabbit, because it's getting too big. It's possible that they ended up actually purchasing this rabbit when it was a baby and maybe were delusional and thinking that it was going to stay that size. But all rabbits do grow, so they're going to get fairly big, so they're not going to last very long in a cage like this. I mean, even if your bunny was this big, you don't want to put it in a cage this big. Or this small, I should say. It is just way, way too tiny. All right, number 9. This one actually baffled me. I believe I came across this one on Facebook where someone had posted it on a rehoming website. Did not get a description, but I did get the photos. This one confuses me because, well, for many reasons. We have this rabbit living in a full cheeks. It's called this full cheek, simple and spacious rabbit habitat for guinea pigs and rabbits. Honestly, I feel like cages that are marketed for guinea pigs and rabbits, they should not be in the same sentence. You got guinea pigs and you got rabbits. I don't see how one cage could be ideal for both species. This, okay, it could work for guinea pigs. It's not the worst size cage. It kind of looks very similar to a Midwest. It's 2 feet by almost 4 feet, which is fairly decent. But to have a rabbit in here is not great. And the part that confuses me is because they have a Rolly litter box in here, which if you guys don't know is a really great company for rabbit litter boxes. But I feel like it takes a certain kind of person to come across their stuff and their products and also see like their photos on their Instagram and see that there's no rabbits on there living in cages like this. So to put this amazing litter box, which mind you actually costs more than the cage itself, inside of here, it's just so baffling. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm glad that they have it because it is a really great item for rabbits and it works out really well, but to have it inside of this cage, which makes it even more tiny, that's what doesn't make sense to me. I'm glad that they have hay, they have a chew toy, they have a water bottle. I have to honestly say this is probably the worst one to use because the nozzle on this one is so small. My guinea pigs have this one and they love it, but for a rabbit, I mean, there's just such a small amount of water that actually comes out of there, so I just feel like they would get no water whatsoever. It probably would be honestly easy for this rabbit to get dehydrated. We do have some fleece car washes as well, and it looks to be on some fleece and also a bath mat. But there's some good things about this cage, like the overall care is pretty good, like it's getting what it needs. But just in regards to the space and the habitat that this rabbit is living in, this is not good whatsoever. I am thinking about this logically, and I think maybe the only reason why they would have this type of cage is because they have other animals, let's say a cat, for example. I mean, cats are notoriously known to kind of poke their claws into things and be a little sassy, a little crazy with small animals. So in this case, I mean, maybe they're doing this to protect the rabbit, which is really good. But again, there is no way of me being able to 100% know if that is the case, you know, if they do have a cat and they're kind of like just wanting to protect this rabbit. But yeah, this is not a great setup for a rabbit. I definitely suggest that you do not purchase this cage for a rabbit. Again, for guinea pigs, it could work maybe like as a starter kit, but for rabbits, definitely not. Alrighty guys, number 10, and this one actually comes with a video. We have a pet cage which comes in 2 parts. The upper cage comes off the stand to make it portable and is in great shape with everything you need: a water bottle, a poop tray, feeding dish, bag of straw, bag of rabbit food, $30. I'm gonna just show you guys the video first because when I was looking at this, I was like, what am I looking at? Like, this is the most confusing thing ever. Is it a piece of furniture? Is it a piece of decor? It's literally a rabbit cage that I think someone built. I mean, I'll give it to them. You know, the DIY, the creativeness, it looks awesome. It looks pretty well constructed and, you know, craftsmanship is good. But this is way too small. I mean, this is literally a prison for this rabbit to be inside of. It is completely enclosed minus the little mesh that's in the front. So this rabbit has literally probably no interaction with the outside world other than seeing through the wires. This rabbit is also on completely wire flooring because you guys can see that the droppings are dropping down below, which has the tray that you can pull out easily clean. It does have straw, which I'm a little concerned they might be getting that confused with hay. That is actually something that happens quite often, is something that I've seen myself firsthand. A lot of people think that straw and hay are the same things and that rabbits eat straw, which is not true. Rabbits need hay. Nesting material could be straw, but it's just not really super absorbent, so I would stay away from straw. It almost seems like the focal point was the furniture itself, and then how can we incorporate a rabbit inside of it? It feels like that was an afterthought. So it seems like this person really didn't pay mind to having a suitable environment for this rabbit, but rather the aesthetic value of it. So like I always say in these videos, please do your research. Please watch videos. We live in a day and age now where there's so much information out there. If you guys are interested in getting a new animal, it is so important to make sure you are doing your research on how to actually take care of that being. Please do not rely on pet stores to tell you the correct information or to go based off of one listing that you see online and just assume that the care that they are currently getting is the care that they should be getting for the rest of their life. If I came across these listings in present day, you bet my bottom dollar that I'd be contacting these owners to go ahead and save them. All of these rabbits are worthy of saving from these enclosures. They were just so bad, you guys. So yeah, if you need to do a little bit more research, again, just jump online or watch my rabbit videos. I have so much content for you guys to go ahead and learn about rabbits and the proper care that you should be giving them. But if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos every single week. And until then, I hope you and your piggies and also your buns are happy, safe, and healthy. Bye, guys.